Alright then, so we have our route set up here. So if we type something into the address bar /about or just /, it's working. But we don't have any links on our app yet to take you from one view to another. And normally you would on a website, so let's add some in. To do that, we'll create a navbar component and place all of our links inside that. So over here, right click in components, go to new file and call this one navbar.view. Okay, so in here we need a template first of all. And inside that template, we'll do a nav with a class of main-nav. Inside that, we'll do a UL and then some li tags as well. This is going a little bit skew with over here, but we'll rectify that. Okay, so then the li tags inside that. And I suppose what we could do is we could just say href is equal to something like /, and that would be home. And close off the anchor tag. And we could do something similar down here. Li, then an A, and the href will be / about, and that would be the about page. Now that's fine. However, this is not really the Vue way, and it's not as flexible as using a built-in routing tag that the Vue router provides us with. So instead of this anchor tag, we could say router-link to is equal to /, like so. And then change this closing tag to router-link. So that is going to do pretty much the same thing. It's going to render an anchor tag to us, but this way is much more flexible, and we'll see why over the coming videos. So let's change this one as well. We'll change this to a router-link tag, which goes to equals / about, like so. And we'll change this to router link as well. Okay, we'll leave it like that for a minute. Next we'll do our script tag, and inside here the name is going to be navbar, and we'll do a data property just for later, and in here we'll return an empty object. Then finally we'll do a style tag. Inside the styles we'll just do a little bit of styling. We'll say ul is going to be list style type none, and the padding is going to be 0. We'll also say that the anchor tags are going to be a color of 4-2-B983. Okay, now we're targeting an anchor tag here, but we don't actually create one up here. But when Vue renders this to the browser, it sees the router link and they become anchor tags. Okay, so let us now take this component and nest it inside our root component over here, and we'll nest it up here above the image. So to do that, first of all, we need to import that component. So we'll say import navbar from to say the root of the directory / components, then / navbar. Okay, so we need to register that down here as well. So we'll say components is going to be an object, and navbar will be one of those. Cool. So now we can nest it up here. We'll say navbar /. Now if we save this and view it in a browser, we should see that nav now. We get home and about. Cool. And if we click on about, it works. Home, it works, and vice versa. Okay, so that's working. But we're really just kind of scratching the surface when it comes to the router link here. The real power comes when we data bind to this property right here, this to attribute. So we can do some data binding by doing our little colon before it, and then anything in here now becomes dynamic. And when we do this, Vue router is going to expect an object. So we can create that object first of all, and inside this object we can pass different options about the route. So what I'm going to do is say the name of this route should be about. Now remember that name property that we gave to our routes before? We said that this one was about and this one was home. Well, when Vue sees this over here, it's going to think, okay, well, it's looking for the about route over here. So then it's going to grab this thing right here, the path to / about, and inject it into the anchor tag down here when it becomes an anchor tag. Okay, so let's just save this and make sure it works. We'll refresh over here and then click on about, and it still works. If we inspect this element, we can see that these anchor tags right here, they actually have the href of / about, and the one above it is just /. You might also have noticed so far you've been seeing these little hash symbols here and also up here. We'll talk about that later on. That is deliberate. So what is the benefit then really of using this thing right here instead of just saying / about? Well, imagine this. Imagine that at some point your URL for the about page became about-us. Now then, if you would have hard-coded / about on every single router link inside your project, you're going to have to go around and update every single one of those. If instead you just used this thing right here and passed through an object and said we want to use the about link, then all we need to do is update that URL or that path once right here. Okay, because we'll keep this the same name. So there we go. That's an introduction to router links right here. We will be doing more with them as we go forward, starting in the next lesson where we're going to start passing some different options through into this object, and they will be route parameters.